The dim light cast its glow upon the white sheets and blankets, turning the once tidy room into a chaotic scene. Clothes and bags were strewn haphazardly on the floor. The man, smoking a cigarette, spoke. "Darling, have you made up your mind? When are we getting divorced? I can't wait any longer." The woman, lighting her own cigarette, replied, "I haven't decided yet. Let's wait. Isn't it fine now? He earns money outside, and we spend it. What's wrong with that?" The man took a deep drag from his cigarette, maintaining a steadfast silence. His eyes fixed on the white ceiling, seemingly contemplating and strategizing. The woman, named Fa Fang, is 35 this year, the age often considered the most charming and graceful. A homemaker, she just dropped her child off at school, and the scene with her lover unfolded at this moment. Her husband, Wei Liang, was striving in a big city, a common fate among those drifting away from home. To save money, she held back on her expenses, putting it all aside for her wife and child. Perhaps at this moment, she was cycling through the streets of the city, diligently going about her day. However, William was unaware that the hard-earned money he sent home was being squandered carelessly by his wife on another man. Married for 12 years, though often living apart, they had once been deeply in love. William had complete trust in Fa Fang, seeing her as a kind, simple, and devoted wife and mother. Yet, reality unveiled a different side of Fa Fang. The man continued to puff on his cigarette, and the room became engulfed in smoke. Suddenly, she spoke, "Let's break up then. If you won't agree to a divorce, dragging this on is not a solution." After her declaration, she fell silent, waiting for the woman's response. Fang Fang, enraged, retorted, "You heartless thing. Just say you want a divorce. Right now, there's a fool giving me over 10,000 every month. Will you support me after the divorce, or should I support you?" The man attempted to explain, but the woman interrupted, "Dragging this on is not a solution, yet you also want to get married, want a child. I can give you a child. Once the child is born, the fool will raise it. How about that?" Hearing this, the man felt a sense of fear. She truly did not want to sever ties with this woman. If he married her, he might be the one being supported. After her words, Fa Fang checked the time on her phone, took off her neatly worn coat. And it became clear she didn't want to break up. She wanted to be with her. She wanted to have a child with her. The springs on the bed creaked, the outside sky started raining, and the little girl at the school gate waited alone, occasionally looking towards home. However, her mother hadn't shown up for a long time. In the end, she walked home alone, the rain soaking her hair and clothes. When Fa Fang returned to the school gate, the sky had already turned very dark. She planned to find her daughter but found no one around. Panic set in as she searched place after place, but her daughter was nowhere to be found. She decided to call Fa Fang, but her phone was turned off. Panicked, she continued her search. The next morning, Fa Fang headed towards her home and saw an elderly person holding her daughter's hand. The little girl's figure looked very familiar. She called out her daughter's name, and the girl turned, calling her dad, then swiftly ran into her arms. It turned out that her daughter had returned home alone in the rain the previous afternoon. The concerned elderly person took her in, but when the girl tried calling her mom, she found her phone turned off. After thanking the elderly person, she brought her daughter home, only to discover the house hadn't been cleaned for a long time. She also found Fa Fang sound asleep. Her attitude towards Fa Fang started changing. When Fa Fang woke up, seeing her daughter and the elderly person, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, Fa Fang found her daughter's words somewhat laughable. How could a mother worried about her child's safety sleep so soundly? That afternoon, she took her daughter out for fun and booked an evening train ticket to go back to work. Fa Fang initially wanted her to return once to prove her innocence, but her daughter's disappearance shattered her plan. She desperately tried to keep her, but there was no intention on her daughter's part to stay. When she sent her off at the elevator, she encountered someone with a mask and who handed her a USB drive before quickly leaving. The next day, borrowing a colleague's computer, she opened the USB drive and understood everything. Fa Fang wasn't just having an affair, she was mocking her behind her back. She began to realize that the situation was more severe than she had imagined. William was a father. He visited his daughter every month but never stayed overnight. His girlfriend, Fang Fang, was still in contact with her lover and informed her that she was pregnant with his child. Fangfang began to put on an act, crying and claiming the child was Wei Liang's. However, before the child was born, Wei Liang conducted a paternity test, proving the child wasn't his. Fangfang's actions cost her everything. She was abandoned, with no